Welcome back to Views on News, Daydream Nation Network. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pornhub. So I wanted to talk to you about the Blazers just signed Pau Gasol.
Boom! Championship.
Should be.
When you posted that on Facebook, I was like, that guy still plays?
Yeah. So he's 39 years old. He missed 30 games last season because of injury. Here's the biggest thing, though. So the Blazers don't have a big man coach. They haven't for several seasons, which makes no sense when you have Nurkic, who's like an up-and-coming center at like the ripe old age of 23, I believe. Mm-hmm. And you don't have a coach to help him develop his game in the post. So I think Pau can do that, and him being a foreign player as well, he's going to give him a bunch of wisdom. He's a championship player. He probably embodies the Mamba mentality with Kobe, playing with him for so many seasons, got along great with him.
Definitely.
So I think he brings a lot to the table on that side of things, more than he does still being physically able to bring you over the hump for a championship.
Because what's this, like his 19th season?
I believe so. But the thing is, if you don't play him a lot during the regular season, he can be one of those guys that helps you in the postseason and gets everyone rallied around. He knows what it takes to win a championship, you know what I mean? So players like that are invaluable. And then you add in that the Blazers drafted very well. They got Nasir Little, like the 30th pick, I believe, who everyone thought he might be a top 10 pick. And so great pickup for that. They traded for Kent Bazemore, 3-and-D guy, so they improved on defense by trading Evan Turner. They got rid of that contract.
Evan Turner's a man.
In college.
He's a top 2 pick, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And then the biggest thing was they traded for Hassan Whiteside. So now they got one of the league leading rebounders and rim protectors.
But his contract's going to expire after next year.
Exactly, and so him and Bazemore. So that leaves that basically leaves them, I want to say, somewhere around $30 million in cap space.
So they're ready for KD next season.
Yeah, whenever he did. Yeah, I think he signed the 3 year
Oh, did he
deal.
sign it longer? Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter anymore. They all just request trades. So
yeah.
My question to you though is: do you think that's they did enough to get back to the Western Conference Finals next year with the way everyone else improved as well? The Lakers, the Clippers, the Houston Rockets. Are you effing kidding me? 2 MVPs in the last 3 years on one team?
Yeah, but they're kind of the same person. They both want the ball and they both shoot a lot.
You can say the same thing about Damian Lillard and I'm gonna blank on his name now.
CJ McCollum.
CJ McCollum, thank you. You can say the same thing. They're both primary ball handlers. They're similar size. They play very, very similar.
But the issue with Westbrook and Harden is they both kind of disappear in the playoffs.
Yeah, I watched the press conference with Westbrook, and it sounds like he said he's played with him before. Obviously, they're friends, and that he is going to do what it takes to win a championship. So he sounds like he has the right mindset. Whether he does it or not, I don't know.
We'll find out. Proof is in the pudding.
James Harden just said we'll figure it out. So he didn't say that he's going to play off the ball or anything. The biggest thing is, though, now whenever James Harden is resting or needs to take a few plays off, you have another MVP caliber player that does the same thing. And we've all seen what the D'Antoni system does numbers-wise for guys. I mean, it made Steve Nash a 2-time MVP.
Well, I think the big, like, they have enough talent to make it back to the Western Conference Finals. I think the biggest thing for them is what happened with Golden State and then KD left.
Yeah, that opened it up for everybody.
Yeah.
And now the thing is, everybody else has to learn to play together because they're essentially new teammates. Kawhi is going to have to learn to play with Paul George. Yeah. Paul George has historically disappeared in the playoffs, except for when he was in the East. And the West is wide open. So I think it's very possible Portland could be back in the Western Conference Finals. And I think they did the right moves in bringing in veteran leadership and upgrading their role players this offseason. And I think that's probably the moves that they needed to make. And the biggest thing is, as much as I loved Myers Leonard as a person, that contract of his was atrocious. He had barely played. I mean, he scored 49 in the finals last year, the very last game of a lot. It was a loss, but he scored 49. He showed he was capable. Great for him. He gets to go to Miami now. Who doesn't want to live in Miami over Portland? But
welcome to Miami.
But they got rid of that $10 million contract, and they got 2 expiring contracts. So that's great news for them. I think they're my pick to make to the Western Conference Finals unless LeBron is back to the form he was last year. And you can't sleep on the Clippers because of the defense. It's going to be a learning process. There's going to be load management with Kawhi. There's like 30 games this last season he didn't play for the Raptors.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a lot harder to get wins in the Western Conference than it was in the Eastern Conference without your star player on the floor. So.
I still don't. The Anthony Davis thing didn't make any sense to me.
It makes great sense to me. What do you mean, like because
it's being with LeBron?
It makes perfect sense. Do you remember when Zydrunas Ilgauskas went to like a 20-10 guy with LeBron on his team?
Yeah, but look how he played with Chris Bosh. So LeBron's issue is when he's not shooting very well, what does he like to do? He drives to the basket.
Right.
Where does 90% of Anthony Davis's buckets come from?
Well, I understand, but if LeBron's driving to the basket, you have to put two guys on him. And if you have to keep two guys on Anthony Davis in the paint, that means that your paint is requiring all the attention and your perimeter guys are open. And they brought in Danny Green, who's a terrific three-point shooter.
Where they're really exposed, though, is when they play a Houston or Portland that can hit the three. I agree. If they're going to twos all the time. What
does Houston and Portland have to stop LeBron James or even slow down Anthony Davis?
If you're hitting threes, you don't have to slow down anybody. You can let LeBron go off for 50.
It's going to be tough. I think if you can get whatever 2-pointers you want. So here's the thing: if you can contest 3-pointers, I believe they make 20% as a league average, somewhere in that range, 27%, something like that. For contested threes. If it's a superstar player, it goes somewhere up close to 40%. 37, I think it was something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but just by contesting shots, they're not going to make all that many threes. And they have cold shooting nights. So if it's a 7-game series, they have to shoot well for all 7 games, which nobody does historically besides maybe the Golden State Warriors. Yeah. So you have to factor in that, and then there is nobody that's going to stop the 2-point game on any team that I can think of LeBron James and AD. And then you add in Boogie Cousins if he's anywhere near what he was.
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting with that.
Rajon Rondo in the playoffs is spectacular every single time he gets there. So I know he's not a 3-point shooter, but he can shoot the 3, and he's going to be wide open out there. Every shooter is going to be wide open because it requires 4.
Can he shoot the 3, though?
You got 5 defenders. 4 of them are going to have to be in the paint to defend LeBron and AD.
I don't know.
Kyle Kuzma can shoot the 3 very well.
We'll see.
I think it's going to be tough, but like you said, if Portland can rain down the same way that Golden State's done over the past few seasons, then it very well could be. And they brought in defense. They brought in height, the rebounding. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing too. Is Lakers are going to control the rebounds for almost every team. Who's going to out rebound that team when your point guard is 6'8", 270 pounds?
Yeah.
And then your center's probably the most athletic guy in the league outside of the Greek Freak.
Yeah, and who knows what you get with LeBron, though. He's starting to get older.
That's true. He's 34, though. I think once you get to 35, 36. But the thing about him is when he slows down, he's going to be Karl Malone.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the game's changed, but Karl Malone was a big, strong post player, and LeBron can still just be that. He might not be able to run the floor and whatnot, and he'll be able to pass out of the post. So if he can develop his post game even more than just the dunks, if he can get some Hakeem Olajuwon moves in his older age, I think he's still going to be effective his entire career.
Yeah, he might. Or develop more of a 3.
So the original question was, does Pau Gasol move the needle for you in the Portland Trailblazers championship?
I think in the Western Conference it's anybody's game.
I do too.
And I think the Portland Trailblazers are more capable of making it there.
I think they have, like I said, the added advantage of they've played together the entire time. They just brought in better role players than they had last year. And they had nothing to offer Golden State. But also, when your 2 star players are carrying the team the entire season and postseason, it wears on them by the time they get to the finals. So I hope with the added in pieces that they'll be able to not have to control every game throughout the season to the point where they're exhausted.
Do you know what they paid Pau Gasol? Because the Trailblazers are notorious for bringing in these names that are at the end of their prime, like the Marcus Camby situation.
I don't know what they paid him, but my guess would be the veterans minimum.
You think so?
I think so.
Copy.
They didn't have much cap space to begin with, and they had 1 roster spot, so I imagine it was a veterans minimum. What do you guys think? You think who's your pick for going to the Western Conference Finals this year?
Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Pop, lock, and drop.
Pop, lock, and drop.